Masechet Batra Daf Kuf Mem Het, continuing from Kuf Mem Zayin Amud Bet, 11 lines down. Amar Rabba, Amar Nachman, Shechiv Mera, a dying person, Shamar that said, Dur Ploni B'Vaitzem. Reuven should be able to live in my house. Yochai Ploni B'Vaitzem, or Reuven should be able to eat the fruits of my tree. Loimar Klum, nothing happens. He didn't give him any access. He didn't make a kinyan. However, Ad Shomer to new bites of the Ploni via Durbo, if he says to give this house to Reuven and he can live in it, or to Dekas of the Ploni Yachal Paradav, he gives this palm tree to so and so, it'll fruits, then the kinyan happened, the guy acquired it. The verse is the limit of the Sabra Rahman Does that mean that Rahman only holds that only what a healthy person can say, a dying person can say, and if it doesn't apply by a dying person, a healthy person doesn't apply by a dying person. Not only they have the same exact ways to transfer over properties, but what's the problem with that? It's because we see Rav Amar Nachman, Shchivan Hashamar, a dying person that said, Tenu Havtaliponi, Havtaliponi, we see a dying person is able to transfer over a loan to someone else that's owed, the loan that he's owed to someone else, even though a healthy person can't. So we see that it's not parallel. Whereas no, Habamar, Shchivan can transfer the loan because it's like an inheritable item, and therefore he can transfer it. Different answer. A loan can also be transferred through a healthy person. How? We had this earlier kana that a person is able to transfer over anything that's he has or owed. You could tell Reuven acquired for Shimon through the triangle. Okay, by the way, what if the dying person says, I want to give a palm tree to one person and the fruit to someone else? That second gift work or not? Because I've already given the first guy, the tree. Whereas Mishiel Makompere, does that mean when I give him the tree, does that mean I'm leaving over the spot of the fruits to give to someone else? Oh, Loshir, I didn't leave it over, and therefore the first guy got it already. Where it says, if you want to tell me that the second guy is not considered, it wasn't left over for the second guy, what if the second, when he says, I want to give the fruits to myself, does that count or not? If you want to tell me that in the first case we mentioned the palm tree to one guy and the fruit to the other guy, the the place of the fruit was not left over for the second person. If you giving the palm tree to one guy and the fruits to someone else, he should be able to leave the fruits to himself. Why? When a person is trying to transfer something to himself, like in this case at least, he's trying to transfer over this tree to someone else, but he wants the fruits to himself. He's going to be generous to himself and allow himself that spot of the branches that he'll give access to future fruits. Similar back and forth, but a different type of case. We told this to Rabbi Shimon Lakish. Rabbi Shimon Lakish, buy the chaver, someone sold a house to his friend. But what happened? They told him afterward, I'm selling it on the condition that the second floor rooftop with the fence is mine. That part is his. That's the question. What if you want to say I sold the house to the first guy and the second floor rooftop to the second guy? Me have a share low. Was that left out or not? In this Lamar Bayit if you want to tell me that it's not considered, nothing was left out and the first guy got it, puts me to the mind. What if he said I'm giving you the first one, I'm giving you the house except for the rooftop? Does that mean I'm giving the access to the rooftop to someone else? If you want to tell me that in the first case where he mentioned the house to the first guy and the rooftop to the second guy, he did not leave out the second guy didn't get anything. Quotes me to the top. When the guy's saying, I'm only giving the house, not and I'm excluding the rooftop, Havishur is considered left over. That is according to Rav because he holds that the owner, he's able to sell something except for the outside part of the house, and he could put poles on it to extend the house and use the poles for whatever he wants. So we see from there, the same way, if the guy wants to leave out the rooftop, he can also leave out the rooftop, just like he's able to leave out the plates of the beams, and that's comparable to the case of the fruits in our case of the tree. Okay, so the dying person said that all his possessions belong to someone else. We check what his mindset was. In Mahalik, if we see that he was trying to just kish everything he owned and met, and then he dies, Kanukulan, they all acquired. Ahmad, but if he heals, he gets everything back because he obviously thought he was dying. In Bin Imlach, if we see that he was deciding what to give away, he's like, this should be given away to that guy, maybe not, I'll give it to someone else. We see he's going back and forth. Met Kanukulan, if he dies, then the people receive it. Ahmad, but if he recovers, he can only back out on the last thing because it must be that the last thing was the thing that he wanted to give away. the fact that he changed his mind, and there because he was dying. But the first thing that he already given away, we say it went through. Like Gemara says that we see from here that we go by context, and therefore we're looking at his mindset. That if he kept on pausing between giving everything else away, it must be he only wanted to give away a death present only in the last item. That's why he gets it back. The Gemara says, "B'dilma ayinu kana'an v'hadarahiv." Wait, maybe the fact that he's pausing wasn't the fact that he was contemplating. Rather, he wasn't sure where to give it, and then therefore that's why he was pausing. He was thinking about it. The Gemara says, "No, no, a person who's dying is already carefully thinking things through, and therefore he'll think and then give it. Therefore, we see that if he paused after giving something away, it's because he was still considering whether to give anything else away, and therefore only the last thing is considered the gift of a dying person. And if he were to recover, he gets that back. If dying person gives signed away all his property to someone else, then he recovered. He can't back out. Because we're worried that he may have property elsewhere that he retained for himself. And we mentioned in our Mishnah that if he has property elsewhere that he would have retained for himself, we assume that it was not a dying wish to give it away, but rather he was giving property away. And had he been dying, he would have kept property for himself. So over here, we're saying that we are choshesh. We suspect that maybe the guy has other property elsewhere, and therefore, when he does write something away, he doesn't get anything back if he heals. The Gemara says the mentioned the guy did not retain any land from himself. I'm not talking; it does not go through. How do you know that the guy for sure had no land that he would not that we know for sure, and therefore he would retain it? The Gemara says that would apply if the guy says all my possessions should go. In that case, he left nothing for himself, and therefore, if he were to cover, he would get it back. Different answer. Maybe that our case is not a case where we knew he had nothing else. He only had this small dingy house, and he was giving it away. If he were to recover, he gets it back because obviously it wants to be canceled.